Fourth Doctor Adventures, Doctor Who, The Fate of Krelos.
And with approval ratings now sky high, the mayor of Krelos City has been soaking up the adulation when she announced the completion of the final section of planet-wide connectivity.
Look, Doctor, that beautiful city destroyed.
Yes, torn out, ripped apart, utterly destroyed.
Master, danger!
K9, what is the matter?
Yes, what is it?
Oh, what was that?
Let's not stop to find out.
Yes, the end of all that we love. A world torn out, ripped apart.
Hello and welcome YouTubers and Doctor Who fanatics to another Big Finish audio review, and today I'll be taking a look at the penultimate Fourth Doctor adventure from Season 4, The Fate of Krelos, starring Tom Baker as the Fourth Doctor, Louise Jameson as Leela, and is written by Nicholas Briggs. Yeah, the Yes Man was supposed to come out, but I've had a few problems with it, but hopefully it'll be out tomorrow. So yeah, The Fate of Krelos did push it away, and it's coming up front. And also I will update you with some scheduling changes. The Third Doctor Adventures Volume 1 review has been pushed back a little bit as I need to plan that out and re-listen to it. So hopefully everyone's alright with that. Anyway, if you want to go straight to the review of The Fate of Krelos and don't want to see how this audio is showcased, then there is the time on the bottom of the screen. If you have or haven't skipped, let's begin the video. So the cover art by Anthony Lamb, and this is one of his best Doctor Who covers. I just think there's a lot going on, and it's just very stunning it is. With the Fourth Doctor by there, with Krelos Mountain, with Leela, the TARDIS in the background, a nice burst of light behind them. We have two cyber mats, one by there and one poking out by there. Nice bit of fire and K9. And I also like how the fire down below is the front layer, so it interferes with that. And yeah, we have the standard stuff, brand new adventures, forecast audio drama, the audio adventures of Doctor Who. And for the side we have the Fourth Doctor picture by there, Doctor Who, The Fate of Krelos 4.7. And for the back we have a bio on the story which I'll place in the description, including the cast and who played the characters. It is 60 minutes approx including behind the scenes of the story. And when we open the CD case we are presented with the leaflet and the disc. If we take the disc out we have advertisements for Season 4 audios before The Fate of Krelos, and some novel adaptation releases as well. And for the leaflet we have the next installment, which is Return to Telos, which I will review in October. And of course doing an overview of Season 4 of the Fourth Doctor Adventures, which would be very exciting, Doctor Who magazine and production credits. And of course there are two variations you can pick for the front cover of your CD, with the standard one and the Fourth Doctor variation one. And I do like this, the logo really goes nice with the cover. Now to my review of The Fate of Krelos. Been getting some very interesting reviews this one, it's been rather mixed. Some people saying it's really good and it leads into Return to Telos very well. There are others saying it's good for what it is, but not a memorable one from Season 4. And then there are others criticising it that it is not a good story. Yeah, I don't class The Fate of Krelos to be a standalone story because they have too many links into Return to Telos, and Return to Telos refers back to The Fate of Krelos a lot. Whereas Requiem for the Rocketman and Deathmatch felt rather separate from each other. These ones have too many connections with each other, so I don't really class The Fate of Krelos as a standalone story, as it has too many links to Return to Telos. So what I'm going to be doing in my Return to Telos review, I'm going to be rating both the stories as one, so as a four-parter, so I'm thinking about doing that in Return to Telos review. But yeah, I will rate this one as a standalone in this review. And for the summary of the story, it starts off with the Doctor and Leela landing on Krelos for a fishing trip. Oh, how wonderful. And there's something wrong with the TARDIS as it's changed to a previous desktop, which is the second Doctor's one. Quite weird stuff happening with K9 a little bit as he senses danger. And if you know by the trailer and the title of the story, something very bad is going to happen on Krelos. Well, it's pretty obvious what's going to happen to Krelos and who's invading it. Alright, into the in-depth review of The Fate of Krelos. It gets quite a lot right, but then gets quite a lot wrong. Anyway, let's start with part 1 and what it gets right. Fate of Krelos really gives the time to expand the main cast, especially the Doctor and Leela, and we just have some fantastic scenes between the two. It's great. But the supporting characters are nothing special. Yeah, it's nice that we have some time where the main cast don't interact as much with supporting characters, as we have some in the city which the Doctor and Leela don't interact with, as they don't go into the city yet. Only Gerald is the really supporting character who they interact with. But yeah, it's nice that the Doctor and Leela have time to expand their characters and their relationship. Yeah, Nicholas Briggs nailed the main cast and they're written perfectly. Supporting characters were unnecessary. I think the story could have been done without them. But yeah, Gerald plays a little part. And then he has a lot more to do in Return to Telos, which of course I will not go into. Yeah, the first half of part 1 is very slow moving, and it's just very strong interactions with the Doctor and Leela. It seems that they've been travelling for a very long time and have a strong connection. And also some funny scenes where the Doctor just walks off when Leela's talking to the Doctor, which quite annoys Leela. And the Doctor walks away from Leela about 3 times in this story. So yeah, the story takes quite a while until it gets into gear. Yeah, I'd say the first 15 minutes of the story is just interactions where the main cast can have some time alone. There's a very strong scene in the part of the story where the Doctor finds a bit of Jamie's clothing, which is called a tartan, I believe. And this is where the TARDIS's desktop theme changed to the second Doctor one. And the Doctor remembers Jamie and explains to Leela that he was a clansman, a true warrior, a fighter. And yeah, this really makes me feel that Jamie and Leela would just be brilliant together to have a story. We do have some scenes about Krelos City, but we don't really know too much about it. It's a little bit unwritten. Yeah, we have a bit more of Krelos City in Return to Telos, but nothing really too much about in this one. So that's a little bit of a shame. And the cliffhanger, yeah, it's quite good, as it shows the fate of Krelos. But we only got it where the Doctor and Leela seen it from a distance. So we didn't hear like big explosions and people crying out in fear. It would have been a very good building up scene, but yeah, the cliffhanger was okay. It could have been handled a lot better. As Nicholas Briggs was the writer and the director, and if I was director I said, maybe make that scene a little bit more extreme, that's what I would have done, but yeah, it feels a little bit average. So yeah, part 1, the best thing about it is the main characters were the highlight with some fantastic development and well characterised. But yeah, the plot is weak. It's like, it feels empty, the story, I can't really think of the real word, but it feels incomplete to me. It doesn't really have a lot in it, so that's a bit of a shame. So I was hoping that part 2 would throw us a little bit more. Actually, a lot more. So then part 2, we have some good moments with the Doctor going through a moral dilemma as he cannot go back and stop the fate of Krelos. And we have some interesting animosity with Leela and the Doctor. A bit similar to the King of Sontar, where the Doctor wants to do one thing but Leela disagrees and Leela says this will be best. So we have some very interesting writing with the Doctor and Leela, which I like. As the Doctor says, I cannot win every battle and I cannot save everyone. That's a really good moment and the highlight of the story. That was a fantastic scene. Yeah, I would say it builds up a little bit more. It's not action-packed, this story is. It's rather simple, really. It's not anything of creativity in the script. It's rather average and pretty weak. As plot-wise, there isn't too much, but with main cast, it's definitely the best thing. And that does give the story quite a good rating, but I wish the plot just had a bit more. But I will say this story leads in very nicely with a cliffhanger to Return to Telos. That was a very good cliffhanger. And yeah, I was very excited for Return to Telos when I listened to the Fate of Krelos. But yeah, it struggled with a very weak plot, so it didn't really make it a standout story, but definitely one of the best for the main cast to be characterised with the Doctor and Leela. Again, as I said, a definite highlight. So then characters and performances, Tom Baker did just brilliantly with the 4th Doctor, especially as on that scene when he was going for the moral dilemma. And I think on one point he was shouting quite loud, and that's brilliant by Tom Baker, so he did brilliant. And Louise Jameson also shouted quite high on the top of her lungs in one of the scenes. So yeah, good work by Tom Baker and Louise Jameson. And now K9 John Leeson played an interesting role, which carries on into Return to Telos, but won't go too much into K9, because he plays a big purpose, especially in Return to Telos, so can't go into that. And yes, supporting characters, yeah, they just weren't used too much. We have Rarely and the Krelos Major. Yeah, they're more expanded in Return to Telos. I don't really know what to say about them in this audio, honestly. Yeah, the main supporting character would be Geralt, who is also in Return to Telos, who interacted with Doctor and Leela for a little bit, and good performances by him. So yeah, supporting characters, nothing special. Main cast, top notch. So then, what is my final verdict on the Fate of Krelos? Yeah, I like this story, I do. But it isn't a standout one for me, as the plot is just a little too weak and it feels incomplete to me. Yeah, main cast, as I said, for like the 5th time now, are just brilliant. Well done for the 4th Doctor, Tom Baker, Leela Willis Jameson, and Nicholas Briggs for doing a fantastic job with the main cast. I just wish he put a little bit more effort within the actual plot, and it would have been a very good story. Supporting characters, I can push that aside. But yeah, I would have let the supporting characters go, but if the plot was better, had a lot more in it, and wasn't weak, then it would get a really good rating, and I would say it would be one of the standout ones for Season 4, and a very memorable one. So yeah, it's unfortunate that the plot wasn't very intriguing, but I will say it does lead very well into Return to Telos. So I give the Fate of Krelos a 7 out of 10. It could have been a lot more better, but yeah, I give it a positive rating because I do enjoy this story. I enjoy it for a character piece, I would say, not an actual story. Yeah, this review went quite quickly, I think because it doesn't have a lot in the story. But anyway, thank you very much for watching my review of the Fate of Krelos. And if you're new to TJ Productions and enjoy Big Finish content, there's a huge variety on the channel. Then subscribe to the channel if you're a fan of that snazzy stuff. So I will see you in the next one for my review of the Yes Men, hopefully, if I can get it up. See you in that review. Goodbye, and have a good one.